as a person coming from the business industry, more recently, I've worked in the agro-industrialization sector. I've worked in fast-moving goods, fast-moving consumer goods. More recently, I'm in tourism. And the movement or the freedom of movement within Africa can truly benefit from the exclusion of this visa process that seems to be a source of revenue for so many states. I believe that the business that is generated through some of the visitors, whether they've come to do business, whether they're here for conferences or events within Africa, whether they're here as tourists, that money is plowed back into the economy. We still realize it in GDP without compromising the movement of these individuals. So tagging $30, $70 here or there for individuals who are coming to generate business that's in tens or hundreds of thousands of US dollars, for me is counterproductive. It's actually counterproductive. And at least if the visa process was smooth sailing, we've found that a lot of the visa sites are compromised. So in the worst case, you'll find visitors who pay for the visa and it's never registered, so they still get stranded at airports. The queues for paying for visas on landing, which is supposed to be an even easier, it's supposed to be an easier access route, paying at the airport. But the queues there, sometimes the connectivity to make electronic payments. So you find that our visitors, our business community, they're being inconvenienced at the airport. Sometimes the delay can go as long as 45 minutes, an hour, time which could have been plowed back into business in the economy. So as a business traveler, you find yourself having to take 24 hours out of your travel time just to deal with the modalities of processing your visa, getting through immigration, etc. 24 hours that could have been registered in business meetings, in business engagements, B2B, B2G. So I believe that if we start to work on removing the barriers to entry, if we start to focus our efforts on realizing a borderless Africa, trade, tourism, minerals, oil, gas, agriculture will all benefit from a borderless Africa. Indeed, a borderless East Africa is the dream, was the ultimate goal that would free up East Africa and countries within the region to optimally trade and to optimally exploit tourism as a sector. We've seen examples from other blocs that have been formed globally. What comes to mind is the European Union, for example, and the free movement within that space, which has put, I think, given the advantage to some of those blocs ahead of ours. So sooner rather than later, we must find a way to make East Africa borderless. And we started to take the steps. For example, you can move freely with some states within East Africa with your national ID. So at least that removes the issue of stamping your passport for every entry in and out of the East African states. For some of the East African states, we're yet to make the traction in all states, but that is indeed the dream, that at least an ID should be able to register your movement freely across the East African borders. To the point of immigration status, etc. Other blocs have managed to do it at the expense, without compromising, obviously, without compromising security, without compromising the usual immigration procedures. I truly believe there is a way that we can find East Africans moving from state to state without necessarily having the same amount of delays as a non-East African. So a fast-track process, a fast-track queue is absolutely critical for business persons and people in tourism as well. So visitors within the East African states should take precedence over other regions because of the East African community, as it were, that we've set up. The real power of the East African community will start to be harnessed when we start to move across each other's borders as freely as you see other blocs doing, European Union, the Americas, and some other other states in the world. So, to your point, do we believe that it's necessary? It's not just necessary, it's critical. It will be the deciding factor, I think, between us achieving our 2040 goals as East African states or not achieving them at all. So once we have a borderless East Africa, it will start to pave the way, I believe, for a borderless Africa.